Yo, 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 what up, though? It's your boy, Street Coder Nate, and we back at it again. This is like, what, video 7. This is video 7, and the 7-part how to develop an application from ideation to development. But more specifically, this is the third video inside of the creating the UI. First video, we created the React application and connected it to the back end. Second video, we got familiar with material UI, material design, and played around with it. Now, this video, we about to really just use material design, UI in our code and, connect it to the back end and actually really get our front end and back end going hard. So let's go. So I'm ready to go. Hope y'all ready to go. Let's tap in. Let's look at the iPad. Let's look at the design. Let's get back the idea, see what the design looks like. So once again, we got the title, and then we got our description, we got our input box, and then we got our button. So let us go make that in the code. But remember, outside of all of that, there's this that brown type of color box, and that box is that's the container, and this container is holding all of those different elements inside of itself. Okay, so what we're going to do is that container is going to actually be a component. So we're going to make a React component that our app is going to load inside of itself. So let's go to our application and let's do that over here. Okay, so we hitting that in the code. Oh, I don't have VS Code open. Okay, and let me open up let me see, PWD. We're gonna CD into front end, and then we can run npm start like that. Cool. That's gonna start our front end up. What up, though? Cool. Okay, so that's our front end up. It started up. So we first have this outer container. That outer container is the title. This is the what we called it over here. We ended up calling it the that's the app container. That's the app container, and that's why it has the class name. It has the class name app right there. Cool. So that's the app container. And so all of this inside, I don't want anything else to be inside. All I want the app container to do is just be a grid like that, and it's going to load some data. Well, what data is it going to load? It's going to load some components. And so the way I like to do my components is that I come over here to the source file, and I like to close everything else up if I'm not using it. It really just confuses me if it's up. So I close everything. You see the terminal be gone if I'm not using it. Close it up. I'm parched again. Close it up. But yeah, that's how I be doing it. Okay. So we up in here, and so you got the source file, right? And in the folder. And then so in the source folder, this is where all of our React code is going to go. So what we're going to do is create another folder in here called components, and all of our different components of our websites are going to be built inside this components folder inside of the source. So let's hit that. All right, components, bet. And then now we can do a new okay, let me tap in one more time. So now that we have our components folder, inside of our components folder, we can have multiple components in our project. So what I like to do is per component, I give it its own folder, and you'll see why. So this component, let's hop back over to the the iPad. We said that this component was going to be called we said this component was going to be called, there we go. We said this component was going to be called the section container component. And so, or this is the section container, pretty much this outer color, this color right there. So we're going to make this the section container. So that's what we're going to call this component in the code is section container. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to just say section container, and I'm gonna copy that. Cool. So I just created a new folder called section container, and now I'm gonna create some files inside of section container. The files that I need is the JSX file that is going to create my my React app, or that's going to create my component, and then I'm also going to create another JavaScript file for my styles. Heard that? A JavaScript file for the styles, not a CSS file. Okay, so we're gonna do a new file, and we say section container. Fuck, I thought I connected, or what is it? Section. I called it section. I meant search. I'm gonna have to change that. It's called SearchContainer. SearchContainer. Cool. .jax. Cool. And then I'm gonna do another file, new file, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna just call it styles. .css or .js. Cool. I could call it JSX too, actually. Styles.jsx. Cool. All right, bet. So we got that. Actually, that's supposed to be up in there. Yep. Move. Bet. Cool. 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 That's in our components. Let's move this out so you can see what it is. Component section container, and I need to change that to new. Change that to a new name. Rename to search container. All right, dope. Cool. All right, so you see that we got a components folder, and inside of our components folder, we have a section or a search container folder, sorry. And then inside the search container folder, we have a search container.jsx that we're going to create our component in, and then we have a styles.jsx that we're going to style up our component in. So let's start creating the code for the component. We know we need to import React, and so we can just go to here and import React. I know they imported React over here. How the hell did they import React? Probably because this imported React. I wonder if you ain't got to import React anymore if the top imports React. We still gonna do it just because. I don't know. All right. Cool. So import React, and after we import React, now we can create our component. So we can say const, and our component is going to be called search container, and it equals function like these, and it returns some JSX that just says, I need to go grab that grid. Return some JSX, which is in a grid. Cool. So now we got a React component, and we can export it. Export default, and it's gonna be search container. Cool. So we export the component so that we can import it over in the application over here, right here. So we say import, and we'll call it search container. Yep. There we go. Import search container from search container. Yep. Cool. So now we can show our search container right here by doing search container, and we close it out like that. Cool. We got our search container on the web page. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see. Where is it at? Here we go. We got our search container, and ain't got nothing in it. Let's see if it's actually there by inspecting the element. And we're gonna bring that down. Here. Bring that here real quick. And then we're gonna bring it back up there. Okay, so we're gonna inspect this element. We got the body, and inside the body, you will see that there's the root, like we always have. And then inside the root, there is the movie root app. App is the class name of app, remember? Let me move this one. Let me move that one. App is the class name of app. Remember by here, class name app. App's class name app, cool. And so if we go inside the app, there should be another div right there. There's another div, right? And this one has a class name of movie root. Let's see what that means. So it should be search container, right? So if we go inside a search container, there's just a grid. And so that means it says MUI grid, my bad, MUI grid root. So basically this is saying this is the div. It replaced the grid with the div. So basically what I'm saying is our component got loaded. It got loaded. And if we want even more validation, we could say search container. And this should show up in HTML right there. Cool. That's from the search container and it's showing up in the app because we loaded it in the app right there. Cool. All right, bet. So now we can really get to doing we could dance up our search container. So what was our search container supposed to look like again? So let's go back to the iPad over here. And now our search container you can see that it's not the full width of the app. Let's say it's probably like 10 bars out of 12 bars, if you will. We'll give it 10 bars out of 12 bars. Cool. So it's gonna be 10 bars out of 12 bars, and it's centered in the middle of the app. It's centered into the middle of the app. So we don't need to center it in the middle of the app. So it's gonna have a container, and that container, well, the centering was actually taken care of by the grid in the application. So that's cool. But this is going to have to say that it's an item so that it can say that it wants 10 out of 12 columns. That's cool. Now that it got 10 out of 12 columns, it also got its own items in here. I like to put those items, because it's already in the grid, you can also make a grid that's an item. You can make it a container because an item can be a container. Basically, you could put a container, you have a container, you put some items in it, but you can put items inside of an item. Therefore, an item can be a container as well. Okay, cool. With that idea, now we have this container. We can flex it. We can flex the direction to be column, and we put the title there. Then we put the description, the input element, and the button. We style them up, and we have our front end done that quick like that, and then we just connect the button. So that's what we're going to end up doing. So let's hop right back to the code. So let's add a class name here. Class name equals, right now we'll just say search container. Yep, search container like that. Cool. That's the class name. We got search container. And then now we can take a sip of water. First, I got to tell the UI that this is an item. Yep. And it's also a container. Yep. And I want MD to be, let's say, 10, right? We said 10 out of 12. MD to be 10 out of 12. So on medium screens or bigger, it's going to be 10 bars out of 12. On smaller screens, let's define the smaller screens. On smaller screens, we'll say it could be, let's say, 11 bars. You know, little smaller screens, you want more width out there. Smaller screens, we go all the way. We say small screens, and then we'll say XX screens, or extra small screens, we'll say 12. Cool. We just did like media queries, literally, in one little line like this. This is why I use Material UI. So it's just so dope. It's dope as fuck. Okay, still getting comfortable cussing on YouTube. Okay, all right, here we go. So anyway, you gotta tap in. Just distracting myself. Y'all be distracting yourself. All right, cool. So we just set up the container, and we know that the container is centered. Now, what do we need inside of our container? We gave it the width and everything. What do we need inside of our container? Let's head back over here. Well, oops. Nope. Yep, there we go. So we over here, and we got the container on the outline. We technically got the outline. It don't got the width yet or the height, but we got the container there. We just need to start putting stuff in it. So let's put the title in it, and that's a H1, right? And then we need to put the title. Then we need to put the description. Where we at? And then put the title, then the description, then the input box, and then the button. So we about to go ahead and throw those in there the material UI way. Cool, let's do that. So what's the material UI way? Well, since last video, I refreshed my brain on typography, and we gonna bring that over there or from over here to over here because we don't even use it over there. And we can use the typography over here. Now, some things that I like to do, and you don't have to do it, I like to put each of my like HTML elements, the elements that I'm about to put on here, I like to actually put them inside of a grid on their own as their own items. And I don't know, it just makes it more organized in my eyes, but you don't have to do it. So what I'll do is be like grid, and then I'll say item, and then I'll say typography. And I'll say this is going to be, this is the title, so this is going to be a variant of H1. Okay, and then the title will just say Insta Scraper or something like that. Insta Scraper. Cool. So far, so good. All right, and then I'll just copy this down a couple times. So what I need a description, and then I need an input box, and then I need a button. Cool. So here I can put, because it's typography, the description is typography is going to be, I'm going to put a body though. Let me get some help. What is it? It's like, ain't it like body? Yeah, about body 1. I'm going to put body 1. And then down here, I need the, can y'all see that? Let me go and edit zoom in one more time. Down here, I need, that needs to be an input box. So how do I do an input box? I think that is text input. So we're going to go import. But you know what? Not even think about it. Let me teach y'all how to do it the right way. Is to just go to the documentation and go search it up real quick. That's the style guide. We're going to hit there over there soon. We're going to go input. Go text field. There we go. Text field. And so on these text fields, it gave me the API. 1 second. So on the text fields, this is what the text fields look like. You can click on them like that. And that's what they come out the box looking like this. So I just need like a little basic one. So I don't really care what it look like too much. So I'm gonna just, you know, do I want the outline or the standard? Let's see, put somebody's name. I think the standard one would be dope. So I'm gonna check out the code, look at the code. Okay, I see I need to import this text field first. Y'all probably can't see that. Let me zoom in. I need to import this text field first. Cool. So I'm gonna go back over here. Copy that. Got my text field. Cool. Let's see how they used it. Let's go scroll down a little bit. My text field. This is how they used it right there. I said I want the standard one. Zoom in. That's how I said I want it right there. So now I can come over here, and that's 1, 2. On the third one right here, I need to put the text field in. Can I put a placeholder? Oh, it's a label. I want my label to say username. Something like that. Okay, cool. So then I said I need a button. So let's see what they got for buttons. Cool. They got some buttons over here. Bet. Let's see, which one do I want? Let me just get a default button. Get some styling on it soon. Or do I want something to do? Ooh, look, they even got some. They got like, you could play around with it. It's just all very different types of buttons that you can come play with. Let me see. I say, what type of, how am I feeling? Ooh, icon dope. Ooh, okay, shoot, my bad. A large button, a medium button. Upload, send, I like those. Ooh, send. We won't say send, what we would say search. I ain't got a search one. They had a search one, that'd be dope. You know what? We'll use the send one though. I like that send one. So in order to use the send one, we need to import the correct things. We need that send icon, which should be, let's see, delete icon, cloud upload, keyboard icon, save icon. I need that one icon. Start icon is delete icon. Icon send. Oh, okay. Icon is just send. Okay, that's easy. Okay, cool. They showing me how to use this button right here. Okay, bet. So before I use the button, I noticed that this icon comes from, oh, actually, cool. Never mind, because I'm just using the send one. I don't even have to get the one from Material UI / icons, because I don't have that one. I have Material UI / core. So if I wanted to use a special icon from the icon library, I had to install that library. But I'm not using it because this one comes from core, and I have core already. So bet. So what we need to do is install or import this button first. Let's go ahead and import that button. Like that. Got it. Cool. So now after we got the button imported, they say to use the button, we want something like, nope. We want something like this one, just to use that button. So copy that over, and we're going to put that right here, the last part for the typography. Bet. Cool. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see what we got. So let's just go straight to the browser and see like how it just did it for us so far. Like we was doing this without looking, so let's see what happened. Let's go on over to our app. Oop, we got some stuff that failed. Let's see, classes. Oh yeah, I didn't import the icon class, so I need to go import that. Let's see where that is. Icon class right here. Bada boom, bada bam. Now we should be cooking. Okay, classes is not defined. Where you got classes at? We're doing classes, class name. Bet. And then it says can't find variable classes. Where you at? And icon. Classes. Let me just search for classes. Line 25. Y'all tripping because it ain't even there no more. There we go. So this is what it looked like right outside the box. You see, you got our title, we got our little description somewhere we should be putting, and we got our input box, and then we got our button. That's what it looked like right out the box. We got our elements, they're not styled up correctly, right? So now this is when it comes with some CSS, gonna make this look real right. So let's tap in with that real quick. So we got over here, and honestly, this is a good place to make a quick commit. So I'm gonna do that. Let's make a commit because you know we got our stuff. It works. It just doesn't look good right now. So that's cool. So we're gonna do a get status. And you see that we done made a new folder over here that's untracked, and we want to track that folder. So we gonna end up tracking it, and then you see all the things that we modified. So let's go ahead and just do a get add -a, and then we do a get status, and you'll see that all of those are added. Then we can do a get commit -m. Added the basic the basic material UI elements to the search component. You know, something simple like that. And then you can just push it, or you do a get status real quick. Make sure that the working directory is clean, and then you can push it to your GitHub main branch like that. It's like that. It's that simple. All right, cool. So our code is over there. Now we can continue. We just made a little version. Now if we mess up somewhere, we can come back to this version. Cool. Now we can continue without being scared that we're gonna mess up somewhere. Okay, so this is what we look like, but we need to make this look a little better, right? What is it supposed to look like? It needs to look like, let's remind ourselves, it needs to look like these right here, right? But right now it's looking an atrocity like that. So let's fix that. Let's get it. All right. So we come over here and we realize that on line 10, The search container is a flex container. By default, Grid makes it a flex container, and by default, flex containers make one row with multiple columns. But what we want is one column with multiple rows, and we can configure the flex container to do that by changing its direction. And Grid gives us access to do that just by saying direction, and we're gonna tell that hoe to go to the column like that, and watch how quickly it just fixed so much stuff. Like, look at that. It already look where we at. It already made everything in the middle. Now, like, if we compare it back to here, the only difference for real is that we need to get things back over here, and we need to get some more room in between them. We can do that pretty simple. But you see Material UI, you barely see me make any like CSS for real. I don't even think I wrote any of the CSS yet. Like, this is all from Material UI, just straight up styling and layout. Is ridiculously dope, y'all. Y'all need to tap in. All right. So we got the Insta scraper, and you know what? I like to go ahead and open up the dev tools, because the dev tools tell me like what's really going on. Tell me what's really going on. All right, we going over to the dev tools. Can I bring this on top? Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is finesse that hoe like this, bring that hoe back, and then bring that hoe back up here. All right, cool. Now, what we doing now? Oh yeah, so now what I'm doing is I'm seeing, like, if y'all see this block part, it doesn't go over here. It don't go over there, and it don't go over to that white spot. So it's in the middle. It's technically in the middle. The block is in the middle. The block that's in the middle. Let me show you the actual block that's in the middle. Let me scroll down to the elements. We in the root, bro. Where mine's loading it like this? Refresh. All right. Oh, elements. That's where I'm at. Okay, cool. So here. We don't need that one open over there. We need this a little bit more though. All right, cool. So if I'm looking, we got the root, and then you got the actual application container right there. And this container, this is the search container. As you can see, it says search container right there, highlighting it. Search container. Damn, you can't see that shit small. This is the search container. Basically the one, this is the container that we made in the React code right here. This is the search container. And now in the search container, you can see that it has 10 out of 12 bars. You can literally see the one bar on that one side with Safari, and then on the other side, you see the bar that's hanging off too. And because I centered them. And now if I come here, this is a grid of its own. And so what I can do with a grid of its own is tell it to center itself as well, right? So if I come to this item, I can tell this item to do justify center, like that. And it tells me that grid must be used on container, or the prop justify of grid must be used on container. That's the error, so I need to make this also a container in order to use the justify. And now you see my Insta thing is right in the middle. Bet, let's do that for the other ones too. And that's why I put everything in the grid, because it's just easy to move everything now by just using the grid properties. So I can just go ahead and copy this same little thing, same little get down over here, and then over here, and then over here. Oh, dang, I forgot the J's. All right, there we go. And refresh. See, everything is in the middle now. Everything is in the middle. Now what we need to do is just add some spacing in between. And we pretty much add some spacing and a little bit more styling with a little bit. And we pretty much got the style down. We're gonna add probably some color on the background, and we're gonna get it right. We're gonna take a pause for a second though. This video is gonna probably be about an hour to get it right, but we're gonna take a pause, be right back.